There you go.
What is up, everybody? We welcome you to episode 45 of SportsShack. I'm Brandon Natali, along with Denis Tui. Hope you guys are having a great Friday so far. Denis, how you doing so far?
I'm doing great. Off from work today. Got to talk some sports.
That's right.
Locked in. Down and ready, baby.
Locked in, down already. There's been a lot going on. I was having this debate the other day with my friends and my coworkers. And I don't know if I talked about it with you or any of my family, but I'm curious to hear what you think in terms of when it is the best possible time for sports in the world. Like the best time, the month, the out of the year. I know sometimes it could be around this time with March Madness, World Baseball Classic, spring training with baseball that's opening up, and then obviously you got October where you got playoff baseball, the World Series, football, basketball, and hockey, all four sports playing at the same time. And then you got obviously sometimes in June you got the NBA finals, NHL hockey. Sometimes it's April with the NFL draft and baseball, or around the Super Bowl time. So in terms of what I would pick, I would have to say it's either October or maybe June because obviously, start of summer is coming up with the warm weather, the beach and all that. The summer's starting, all the summer activities, and you got, you know, the the Stanley Cup finals and then the NBA finals at the same time. That's pretty cool. Baseball's playing, sort of OTAs and all that with football. And then obviously you got, I just think at the same time, all four sports playing at the same time in October. I think that's pretty neat. Where if you want to watch hockey or basketball, football or baseball, you could pick from either one. Pick of your choice. Those are my picks.
Yeah, I mean, because of that, like it is so like narrow for me because I really only watch the four major sports leagues. Even then, like I'm a little bit more of a casual hockey fan. Like I watch the Devils if they're on. Like I'll be watching tomorrow. I'm off from work tomorrow too, so I'll be watching them play against the Rangers. But I don't know. Yeah, I'd say like very late October, very early November, like the one right during like the NLCS and ALCS / World Series, like when that's on, and then you have NHL coming back, NBA coming back, and the NFL. Like at that point in time, teams have already kind of figured out what they're doing in the NFL, so you get a lot of good sports equinoxes.
Right.
So yeah, that's fun. Later in the year, like in like this time of year, like I don't know. When I was a kid, I used to be so into spring training. Like I don't think you realize, like when I was a kid, I used to watch every single. I used to come home from school, go straight downstairs, turn on MLB Network, and just watch it.
Did you ever
Just watch it.
did you ever go to any of the spring trainings or no?
No. But yeah, I was like, I'm a huge baseball fan. The rest of my family's really not. My cousins are, but my immediate family no. My dad's like a Yankee fan, but like he doesn't really like. He's not looking at prospects, Even when I was a kid, like I didn't really care about the prospects, but to me it was just baseball, And but then as I got older, I was like, spring training kind of is one of those things that doesn't really matter. I know. It's like we're going to be talking about spring training, but it's so early. Some guys that haven't really played in the off season if they're older, and like to me, it's like it's not really there's not too much going on that to get like too excited about. But when like this time of year, when it's the World Baseball Classic, you have NHL and NBA, and like, each game kind of is starting to matter more.
Right.
That's fun.
Like the other night against the Knicks and the Thunder, that turned out to be a really good game.
Yeah, and the Knicks got screwed. The Knicks got so screwed.
Right, which we'll dive into later in the show. And then obviously the Rangers, Texas Rangers, they signed Andrew McCutchen. That's something we can dive into later.
Yeah,
just so much going on. And obviously the Islanders last night against the Kings, it was almost unwatchable sometimes. And they've been really good this season. I'm not trying to knock the Islanders too much, but the shot difference there was 20-6 at one point. That's insane to me. Like this is midway in the second period. Like midway in the 2nd period, the shot difference should not be that high. I think the Kings had in the first period, the shot difference was like 19-2. That's insane. And Sorokin played the best he could. And most of the game when I was watching, he was lights out. But obviously, he can only be lights out for so much. Especially when the Islanders, they weren't getting as much goals as they did. Bo Horvat did get like a sniper with like a second, like a shot of a goal with like a second left, like
Mm.
in the second period. That was pretty cool. It's like he literally caught uh, the Kings and the goalie off guard. Like what just happened, you know? But yeah, no. So I'm gonna have to say probably I like June or October. I feel like that's my times, the favorite sports times of the year. I'm definitely excited for the draft to come up. This is definitely also one of my favorite times of the year in NFL free agency because I love seeing, especially as a big NFL fan that I am, I love seeing the possibility of just who's going to go where, like who's getting traded, who's getting cut, who's signing where. That to me is why the NFL free agency, it's not just one of my favorite times as a sports fan, it's one of my favorite times of the year, especially as a Jet fan when all you got to root for is the offseason. And hopefully they can finally stop winning in the offseason and finally winning. I mean, winning in the offseason, don't get me wrong, but just when it matters in the regular season. That's when I care, It's because, like, come on. We have, 15-year playoff drought and so on and so on. I don't need to get into it because this is not things that nobody knows. But like I said, in terms of the NFL tampering period, I just love just seeing the possibility of.
But are you good?
I'm good. That was my Amazon Echo. I guess my voice is that loud. I'll fix that in a couple seconds. I just like seeing just the possibility of new teams just going, new players just going to new teams. Especially who could be on the Jets. Because the Jets, especially as a Jet fan, they have a lot of cap space, a lot of draft picks. And I trust, I have somewhat trust in Darren. I have more trust in Darren Muji than I do Aaron Glenn, even though I am an Aaron Glenn advocate. I know he didn't have a good year. He didn't show it. But it's his first time as a coach, didn't have a good roster. They were kind of evaluating things. So I think that was the kind of year. It was more of an evaluation year. And Justin Fields didn't play up to par. Sort of on him, half not. But that's another topic. But either way, as a Jet fan, I'm excited for this tampering period. But as an NFL fan, it's insane. It's going to be pretty cool. And it's going to be fun seeing who's going where. Like DJ Moore, he's not going to the Bills. And like I said, this is all stuff I'm going to dive into later. Right now, I want to dive into the NBA because some big news coming out of Boston is that Jayson Tatum is finally coming back tonight, or is he coming back tomorrow? One or the other.
Come back tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. That should be fun.
And so I ask you, Dennis, so obviously this is definitely pretty big for the Boston Celtics to get back one of the, if not their superstar player after tearing his Achilles in, it was a game 6?
That sounds right.
I'm pretty sure it was game 6 of the Eastern semifinals against the Knicks. And of course it happens last game of the year for them, which, you hate to see happen, but coming back from Achilles injury, especially in basketball, and last playoffs was a horrific postseason for Achilles injuries because we saw Damian Lillard get hurt, then Jayson Tatum,
Tyrese Halliburton,
and then Tyrese Halliburton in the NBA Finals, especially Game 7. So you really hate to see it, but to see Jayson Tatum, coming back tonight, we're going to see how maybe they ease him into playing, getting back up to speed. I don't know how much up to speed he is. So maybe the Celtics are going to go easy, especially in March. I feel like this is a good time for, even though they're second, last time I saw they're in the Eastern Conference standings, and then the Knicks are third.
Still are, yeah.
Still are. So, I don't think the Celtics really need to rush him back into things, but we'll see how that goes. But what do you expect though, Dennis, from his return? I mean, I think it's going to be that. I think he's going to be decent. And how do you think it affects the Celtics going forward?
And I think it affects them greatly. Like, first and foremost, I don't understand this narrative of like, who would have thought the Celtics would be in second place without Jayson? Jaylen Brown's not Johnny off the street. Like, how much isn't Jaylen Brown one of the highest paid players in the league for a reason? For years it was kind of like, well, they have 2 number 1s on there. What do we stop it? Stop it. What are we doing here? We're going to pretend the Boston Celtics are some scrappy on there. Shut the hell up.
I feel like a lot of people did. I feel like a lot of people did kind of underestimate them for.
Then they're stupid. Those people are dumb. I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm sorry.
You have Jaylen Brown. You have a loaded bench. You have a loaded role player. What are we doing? I know you're more of a casual fan, but I'm seeing people like
right.
on TV and on social media, whatnot, that are supposed knowers of ball, and it's like, bro, stop. But is it losing 38, 39-year-old Al Horford? That's that big a loss? Come on, shut up. But I mean, this is the perfect game for him to come back in. Dallas Mavericks are not a good team. They're a bad team. They are coming in. The Celtics are coming in, having won 7 of their last 10. They were 41-21 on the year, and they're going up against a 21-41 Dallas Mavericks team that has lost 5 straight in 8 of their last 10. This is Jayson Tatum is coming in with training wheels. If they want to give him a minutes restriction, go right ahead. By all means, give him a minutes restriction. If you want to really let the, he's a peacock, you got to let him fly. Do what you got to do.
Other guys reference, I love it.
Yeah. But this is a pivotal game for Jayson Tatum and the Celtics. Why? They're going up against the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Sunday, they got Cleveland, 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. A game and a half separates the two. Then they got San Antonio, who looks to be that they could be a sneaky championship contender, not just a conference final contender, but a championship contender. And then you have the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have 47, or I guess now at this point, 48 wins on the year, number 1 team in all of the NBA. And the first team to clinch a spot in the playoffs. So it's one of those, this is a very easy lane, if you're going to get him back, I'd almost rather them give him a lot of minutes because he's not going to be a luxury against the Cavaliers, the Spurs, I was called them the Saints, and the Thunder. He's going to be a necessity. Now, without Jayson Tatum this year, the Celtics have actually played Cleveland very well, but they have not played Cleveland with James Harden on the roster. And that's something to keep an eye out for. However, as of now, Donovan Mitchell is out. He's a game time decision for that game on March 8th. It seems like they're going to see by then if he's going to be healthy or not. But yeah, Cavs are banged up, so they might be able to steal another game here. Jared Allen, game time decision with a knee. Dean Wade, game time decision with an ankle. Maxey Strus out. Donovan Mitchell still nursing a groin. But if you go, if those guys are out for Cleveland and you come back with Jayson Tatum, this could be a really, really, really big game for them. So far, Boston has actually won both games this season without Jayson Tatum. But again, that was without James Harden on the Cavaliers. So we'll see how that shapes up now.
Okay.
But I'm curious how they play it, man. But I'll take the Celtics by 100 today.
Yeah, I feel like people kind of underestimating, like you said, you just went on the spew before about how, NBA experts, like I said, me, I'm more of a casual. I follow somewhat of the NBA. I know some of the players. Like if it was 2013, I can give you each bench player, each assistant coach of every team. But now I'm kind of more of a casual when it comes to the NBA. But so I am a Knicks fan, but I lean more casual with the Knicks. But either way, like I said, so I just, in terms of everything with the NBA right now, with the Celtics, a lot of people underestimated them. But obviously, of course, as you just alluded to, they're not no scrubs. So now that they got Jayson Tatum back, and with with Jaylen Brown, this is a team that's going to be, that's formidable now, and they were before. So now the fact that Tatum's coming back, and who knows how time restrictions they're going to have on him. Teams like the Knicks, teams like the Pistons, they should watch out. This is not something that should be underestimated. And people think the Knicks have the easy cakewalk to the NBA Finals. It's going to be the Knicks against the Thunder. That's recipe for disaster. And we saw that last year because the Knicks were kind of that underdog story that kind of took over the league at that time. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season unfolds. But to say that the Knicks and any other team has an easy cakewalk to the finals, and it's just like you get ready against the Thunder, no, that's recipe for disaster, and that's not the case for any other team. Am I wrong with that?
No, first and foremost, I love how we stacked other guys' references with the no scrubs, Brandon. That's good. That's good. This is why we keep you around here. But the other thing is, you're right. The Eastern Conference, I think people are looking at it as like, well, the Knicks should go there because they have all this talent in their starting rotation. But they don't, at least to me, I still feel like the team looks a little disjointed. And this is weird because a lot of these guys played together in college or They played together for a number of years now that you would think they would be, firing on all cylinders, but they're just not. And I think a lot of it is I'm not too keen on their ball movement. The Knicks, I think a lot of their players are still more than happy with it being Brunson ball. Here, I'll step aside. You do your thing, but I want to see more guys get involved because the teams in the East, while they may not have better players than their Western counterparts, they do what the elite teams in the East are great teams, which is not the same thing as having great players, as of course we all know. In all sports, Detroit, they are like a hive mind. The Celtics, we know their championship pedigree. They've gone to an NBA Finals and won one. They've lost one. So they're 1-1 in NBA Finals, and that's still around the same core. Yeah, they have Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They still have Derek White, one of the best point guards in the league. You still have, why did I draw a blank on what's his name? Peyton Pritchard, who's been a very good, guard for them this year. I'm guessing with Tatum coming back, he's going to probably slide back to being the sixth man on the team. That's still fine. At one point, Luka Garza was one of the best shooting bigs in the league. Who said that was one of the best sneaky moves of the offseason? I did. I don't know if that was on here or on Tui and Gable, but I did. I wanted him on the Phoenix Suns bad. Anyways, what do I know? You have Nikola Vucevic on the Celtics now as a really good rebounding center who can also give you 10 points a night. That good teams. And then we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. In the past, the Knicks have had their number. I feel like every big game Jalen Brunson plays against Donovan Mitchell, Brunson just comes away being better. Like he just pulls it out. But the Cavs have a really good roster. You have the two towers, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. You have Larry Nance Jr., who's still pretty good for a few minutes a game. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden is now on this team. Sam Merrill can give you some threes. Maxi Strus, we know how much of a big game player he was when he was in Miami for a little while. Dennis Schroeder, as much as people can't stand playing with him because the guy just seems like a bit of a jerk, one of the best defensive guards in the league, maybe the best defensive guard in the league, and an absolute hound on defense. So these are teams that are really, really good and really good, like well-balanced teams. What might, do things better that the Knicks do. Toronto has also kind of come out of nowhere. They're only a 35-win team, so a bit of a drop-off between them and teams like the Knicks and the Cavaliers and the Celtics and the Pistons. But again, they have a really good roster. Like they have a good team. They work well together. Grady Dick has been one of the better young players in the league. RJ Barrett has been pretty decent for them. 18.3, I shouldn't say decent. He's actually very good. 18.3 points per game with them, 5.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists. Scotty Barnes had a bit of a down year last year. Now he's back, 18.9 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5.4 assists. So their team is very balanced. It's very even. You don't have the same kind of drop-off guy to guy that you may have on other teams. And, of course, the tip of their spear has been Brandon Ingram with 21.9 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, 3.8 assists. So, these are some good teams now. These are some good teams in the East. It's not like, oh, yeah, we just, we could just breeze right through it. No. I actually, to be honest with you, I like some of these teams better than I like some of the teams in the West. And we didn't even talk about Philly with Joel Embiid. The Orlando Magic have been in a tailspin this year. They looked really good a couple of years ago. They kind of remind me of like that 2023 Kings a bit, where it's like, how did this team just completely forget how to play basketball? But if they get clicking, that could be a really tough out team. And then in the West, let's say you avoid the Oklahoma City Thunder. Are you going to be playing the San Antonio Spurs? Do you want to go up against Wembanyama for 7 games? Do you want to be going up against Anthony Edwards for 4 of 7 and Julius Randle will be coming in red hot pissed? Do you want to be going up against Kevin Durant, who'd be back in the NBA Finals and the Houston Rockets and all their young talent? Maybe you want to go up against Jokic. Phoenix has been a really scrappy team. They've had so many injuries this year, and they still keep sticking around. They're like when Rey Mysterio won the Royal Rumble all those years ago. It's like, how is this little guy still in it? But yeah, this is I don't think any team in the NBA has a cakewalk to the NBA Finals in either conference. I think even the Thunder, they're getting away with a lot in the regular season in terms of officiating. Um, Teams usually get more leeway in the playoffs, but if you think that teams are going to let the Thunder just kind of bully them, no. I at this point in time, like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a metaphorical bounty on some of their guys' heads at this point, with just how dirty they've been. I still think Lou Dort should have been suspended for that Jokic play. That was ridiculous the other night. But I don't know, man. Like I don't think any team is a cakewalk to the NBA Finals. What I will say though, because the Celtics have been as good without Jayson Tatum as they have been, I think this bodes well for him. Ideally, he's coming back at 100% because they've had enough time to make sure he's at. They didn't have to rush him back or anything like that. I thought at one point there was hopes that he could come back in January. Well, it's going to be early March, so ideally he had that extra rest. I don't know if any setbacks or anything like that. I know this is going to sound crazy. Not a doctor, but we'll see how it goes. But I actually think this bodes well for the Celtics a lot. And I think other teams in the league should be concerned. And we have a lot of other good teams in the league.
Yeah, no, hey, you said it well best. You said it really well best. I feel like with the Knicks, real quick, and then I want to move on to Luka.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I was watching Geico Sports Night, them talking about it. Jalen Brunson, he was, I think, 5 of 18 from the field. And I know, like you said, they kind of just want Jalen Brunson to be like, hey, they kind of sit back and just watch the show. But obviously, like you said, it's ball movement needs to be better. Got to be more team effort. And, even if you're going to have Brunson have the floor, he's got to, he's not going to be perfect every night. So, but that can't be the case. If we're going to put all the pressure on Jalen Brunson like that, that's absurd. And coaching needs to be better at that point.
I push back. I think it's the players. I think but you've seen the way Mike Brown's teams have worked in the past. I think it's the players are being a little apprehensive too. I think, to be honest with you, I think they have too many guys that focus too much on defense and are happy being the second or third or fourth option on a team. And now they have to do more. And it's just like a weird fit. But that also starts with Karl Anthony Towns. Like, can you go 5 minutes without fouling somebody, please?
Yeah, he can't. That's all he does.
He can't stop.
He can't stop, won't stop, unfortunately. But in terms of Luka, I know I was watching First Take today. They were talking about kind of revisiting the trade. A lot to go on. Was Nico Harrison wrong for trading a superstar like Luka? But then again, was Luka kind of a little bit on, I wouldn't say ungrateful, but he was kind of taken for granted, kind of everything he had in Dallas and then to kind of do what they wanted him to do, meaning, getting himself, more healthy, more in shape, because trying to build around him. But do you kind of agree with that? Do you kind of think it was still kind of the worst trade?
I mean, I can't think of any that were worse off the top of my head. That's all it is. I know people that are sports fans are going to say Cowboys and the Herschel Walker trade and everything. Actually, the only trades I can think of that are worse. This is too much of a hindsight 2020. Paul George for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a ton of picks. That might be worse than Luka. The Deshaun Watson trade. That's definitely worse than Luka.
That's up there.
That's definitely worse.
What about baseball?
The reason why it's worse is not only because it's like a complete and total. Yeah, not only that, but the money you had, everything there was not a single. There is no diamond in the rough in that trade. At least Herschel Walker sold jerseys. Baseball, like everybody's going to go right to Babe Ruth, or I guess you could go to Mookie Betts. But I don't know. I think that I got to give grace to the Babe Ruth trade. I know that sounds crazy. It's like Denis, you're just literally
a Bambino
wearing your St. Patty's Day Yankee shirt. But here's the thing. sports, like professional sports in the U.S., was still so young in 1918 or 1919, which is when the trade was actually finalized.
1918, 1919, right? Yeah, yeah.
Because he won the ring in 1918. But that, like, yeah, I'll give you you're going to give me $1 million back then for Babe Ruth for one player? Sure. I think we look at it like $1 million for Babe Ruth. Now, first of all, that's a lot of money back then. Second of all, guys were not making a lot of money back then. Like, I know it was just a fun to play. I get it. That's really stupid at face value. I understand it. But at the same time, too, back then, you're getting so much for so little in their eyes financially. How they use the money after that is up to them. But in a vacuum, I actually don't think the Babe Ruth trade is as bad as people make it out to be. It's just stupid
For the time. Wow, that's crazy.
For the time.
For the time, it was worth it.
For the time, $1 million. No, for the time, like, listen, if the Yankees didn't have Lou Gehrig, suddenly that trade's not as like devastating as it turned out to be. Because then it's like, well, Babe Ruth is just one player. And it's like, no. Actually, the best first baseman baseball has ever seen is also going to be in the prime of his career. Okay. That's not a good look. Bill Dickey, best catcher in baseball up to that point. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, now suddenly they're winning all these rings, and you have Babe Ruth. It's like, well, that part kind of gets left out that the Yankees were just loaded after the fact.
Right.
But
so yeah, I guess. But
for a lot of reasons,
they also get rights to play or no? What else?
Something like that. Like it was weird. It was weird. But as time has moved on, I feel like there's other trades that are actually worse than the Babe Ruth trade. And I think the Luka trade is one of them, especially because Anthony Davis got traded again.
He barely played for Dallas, so it was like if they were going to trade Luka, it should have been more worth than what it was. Like, come on.
Yeah, it was a horrible trade at first. Like, I understand. Like, Luka Doncic is so whiny. If you watch him play, if you take a shot every time he does this and starts screaming at a ref, I mean, gosh. You'll be blind drunk, and it won't even be a TV timeout yet. But it is, it is what it's kind of one of those, like, it is what it is. Like, fine. Am I going to sit here and say, like, oh, he's overrated? Is Luka Doncic really overrated? I don't know. Let's look at his stats. You tell me. 32.3 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, 8.6 assists. Yeah, okay, I'll take a temper tantrum. Is he getting suspended? Is he running around waving guns on Instagram Live? Is he failing drug tests? Do you have to worry about off the court issues with him? What's his off the court issue? He likes to drink sweet tea in Europe. Is he getting caught with 900 baby mamas? No? Okay. I can handle it. Like, I don't care. I don't care. You know?
That's true that it does.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Like, is it a bad issue? Sure, but but the issues you just alluded to, they're kind of really way worse, and that's something that should be discussed more.
Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's great for New York. Why? Plays hard, plays well, sells jersey, great dude. Off the court, you don't have to worry about any issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just there's certain guys that, like, yeah, you could overlook bad tendencies, even as annoying as they are, where it's like, okay, fine. Like, the guy's not a diva, but so what?
We actually just got, I guess, this is, I don't know if you saw it. This is kind of relevant. I guess with basketball, it's kind of big, especially since we saw him play. You're the Phoenix Suns fan, and then obviously we did see him play in January. I would love to go to another Nets game, or at least go to the Barclays again soon. But obviously, this breaking news coming in. Just 1 second on my phone. Suns guard Dylan Brooks, Suns forward Dylan Brooks was arrested for suspicion of DUI after a traffic stop. So that's definitely not a good look, especially after Dylan Brooks. From what I've heard, he's looked good with the Suns, especially when I saw him play. He had almost had 30 points. So this is sort of big. Come on, Dylan Brooks. What are you doing?
Tell me you're capping, dog.
No, it just,
Tell me, this is a setup. This is a sham. Brandon, tell me you're breaking balls.
unfortunately, I'm not breaking balls. This is just unless ESPN and Bleacher. If I'm breaking balls and so Bleacher's freaking, I don't know. But that you heard it first from SportsShack. If anybody is listening, shout out to our boy Jason. But yeah, Dylan Brooks is just been arrested for suspicion of a DUI. Especially like I said, I feel like it's been a good play. It's been a good pair for the Phoenix, and also it's been going good. He's been out of the limelight.
Okay.
Hasn't caused any issues from what I've heard, unless I'm wrong.
Damn it. I see his mugshot.
Oh, really?
He looks drunk. It was 3:30 in the morning. Everybody's a little groggy at 3:30 in the morning. Let me see.
Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. That's it's not a good mugshot.
What's the BPA? What's the
Blood
the blood point alcohol level? What is
Come on,
it?
Dylan Brooks.
I don't see any of it.
He's 6'7".
I don't see it.
He's tall.
I don't see any blood point alcohol level. Suspicion of a DUI? No, not my Dylan Brooks. He's never done anything bad in his life. He's the best guy around. Everybody says it. He's the best. He's the kind of opponent everybody wants to have on their team. He's a great player. Come on. This clearly they're all out to get him. It's the big LeBron. Okay, I can't defend it anymore. That sucks.
It's definitely not a good look, but hopefully with Dylan Brooks, hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he gets himself checked out. Seems like because obviously he was driving under the influence. Not a good look. Hopefully whatever he's going through, hopefully he's okay, and hopefully he gets himself checked out, and hopefully he gets better. So that's all I got to say for him.
He's on the IR with a fractured hand. Come on, Dylan. Okay, well, that's life.
Oh, that's life.
Come on, we're literally just talking about off the court. And Dylan, kind of grip.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't expect that. That kind of. It's funny how we talk about all that.
Can't do that. Dylan,
that definitely doesn't help Dylan Brooks' case. But I feel like that's enough for the NBA. We this would dabble quick into the NFL free agency. So a lot to talk about and a lot to expect. Like I said, alluded to before, I'm excited for the NFL tampering period, NFL free agency.
Tampering? Why do you keep calling it tampering period?
Because that's when like teams are allowed to like talk to like agents and players before before free agency really starts.
They allow that?
Yeah, so you could from a 2-day window up until the official league year starts. That's kind of when free agency really starts again, and trades could be finalized and official. That's when like everything becomes that. So March 11th is when the new league year starts. That's when free agency is players could sign the deals and trades can be official. But the tampering period is like agents and teams, like players could agree to new deals. Like you can sign as many players as you want verbally, but then obviously you still got to come in and sign. So that's when it's all hell breaks loose, and you're going to hear massive news on players. Like, for example, like the news that when Saquon was going to the Eagles, that was during the tampering period. A lot of stuff like that. So you're going to hear a lot of news on Sunday, and you're going to hear me going off in the fantasy chat. So yeah, that's going to be exciting.
I didn't realize there was a lot in the NFL. In the NBA, it's like, whoa. Like we literally they just blindly pick and choose like who's allowed to tamper and who's not.
It's kind of a little BS in a way because a lot of the deals and signings you hear, a lot of it happens kind of like around the combine, because that's when a lot of NFL like scouts and executives, GMs, that's when they're all together, especially agents and players. That's kind of when a lot of deals get like hampered out under the rug around that time. So I mean, it's how they do business. I guess that's just how it is. But that's when a lot of deals you're going to hear gets announced around the tampering period. But yeah.
Okay. So I didn't realize that was like an actual
Yes.
Like they were allowed to do that in the NFL. Okay, interesting.
So a big trade that just happened yesterday was DJ Moore getting traded to the Buffalo Bills. Now the Bears are going to receive a second round pick in return. And I believe the Bills are getting DJ. I believe they're getting DJ Moore and I think a fifth round pick or a fourth. Still a good trade. So I think it's a good trade for both sides. They get a second round pick, and there's so much you can do with that trade. There's so much you can do. Uh, I think DJ Moore is a certified wide receiver one. For some reason with the Bears last year, it just wasn't the same in the Ben Johnson offense. Rome Odunze, Luther Burden III was getting more targets and getting more looks. It just looked like that was just the way it was working. DJ Moore obviously wasn't the best. He didn't, compared to the couple years before. So obviously, that Caleb and DJ Moore connection didn't seem to really work out. But obviously, DJ Moore's going to the Buffalo Bills, where he's got arguably the best quarterback in the league in Josh Allen, who obviously has had to deal with Khalil Shakir, agent Brandon Cooks, who actually surprisingly played good. But either way, and Keon Coleman, the relationship hasn't really been good. So, and again, Shakir and Cooks, they're no scrubs either, but they can't really do a lot of it on their own. So the fact that they got DJ Moore, who could take the pressure off those receivers, and he could give Josh Allen basically what Stephon Diggs was, a certified wide receiver one. So, and I was pissed when I heard the trade happen because I think it's a good trade. So good for the Bills on getting that done, and credit to Brandon Bean. In terms of the Bears, Rome Odunze is obviously he slots in as the wide receiver one. Again, they got Cole Kmet, they got Loveland, so it's just a good trade all around. I think it fits both sides, and obviously, like I said, Rome Odunze is going to be top of the wide receiver fantasy rankings, and he's going to play. He's definitely going to show out in year 3. And so, yeah, like I said, it's just a really good trade for both sides. Any thoughts?
I was surprised when it first happened. It happened while I was at work. And then I saw the messages and stuff like that. I saw people talking about it. Then I told my buddy, and he was like, what? It was actually kind of funny when I told my friend. But, it just is what it is. Bears, they don't really need DJ Moore as much as the Bills need him. And sometimes you have to make trades like
very
that.
True. So. Yeah. Like you said, they need him more. You hit it on the hammer on the nail. They need him more than the Bears did. The Bears are surprisingly loaded with weapons. And so the Bills you saw the championship game. Josh Allen was literally carrying the team on his back. And I think he was playing hurt too. So it made sense for both sides. I just want to, and especially it happened now instead of the trade deadline. So, credit to them. Other news surrounding the league, Geno Smith, as of about an hour ago, he just got released from the Vegas Raiders. And from what I read on, I forgot that Geno Smith signed like a massive extension, like a 2-year, like $80-something million. Like, Jesus, that was a lot, especially for Geno Smith, who, granted, he played great in Seattle, but coming over to the Vegas Raiders, it's clear that it wasn't a fit. And again, he was coming to playing for his former head coach, Pete Carroll. And of course, we saw how that tenure, I don't think anybody expected that tenure to be like the way it was. It only lasted 1 year. But obviously with Fernando Mendoza, coming into the mix, he's going to get drafted by the Raiders. Come on, that's a given.
Wait a minute.
What?
So they're not even leaving any a veteran to teach this kid how to play. Oh my God. Is Tom Brady? Tom Brady is one of their owners right now, right?
Yes, he's one of the minority owners, and he said he's going to have more involvement as the offseason goes. I think
something tells me it hasn't gone far enough for him yet.
So with the Vegas Raiders, he was traded. He signed it was a 2-year, $85.5 million extension, with $66.6 million of it being guaranteed. Now, the season he had, he only threw, in 15 games, he did throw for 3,000 yards. But that was 19 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. So it didn't work out, obviously, the way we expected it. Now, Fernando Mendoza coming in, and obviously Clint Kubiak, I think it's a great hire. I think the Raiders are on a good ceiling. I like Clint Kubiak. Obviously, we saw what he did in Seattle with Sam Darnold and the rest of that team. So, I like the hiring. And so obviously he wants to start from scratch. Geno Smith, obviously, of course, he's 35. He's not getting any younger. I'm sure he wants to probably still play. So I guess he just figured break up on both sides. And he seemed pretty humble about it. He posted today saying God is good. God is good. And I guess he's looking forward to the next opportunity. Now, from what I've seen today, now they said the Jets are going to be looking at, I think, two veteran names they want is Jacoby Brissett and Geno Smith. And Jacoby Brissett I've been a big advocate for. But if they're able to get Geno Smith, 13-year-old buddy is going to be going nuts. The fact that Geno Smith is going to be a Jet again. But I would, whether that could happen, I'm not sure. I mean, it didn't really end off on a bad tenure, the Jets and Geno Smith, but it wasn't a good tenure. So, I wouldn't mind if he came back. I don't know how that's going to be. But again, if I had to pick, I would want Jacoby Brissett. I'd want him to be the bridge for the season.
Okay. One thing about Geno Smith, and from Nando Mendoza and the Raiders real quick. He played 15 games for the Raiders this year, Geno Smith. He was sacked 55 times.
Ooh. That's a lot of times.
In 15 games?
That's a lot of, yeah.
And I hope this Mendoza kid's got good insurance. Good luck and Godspeed, young fella.
The Raiders are definitely, like you said, they still
this is
got
like
a lot.
Lamb going to the slaughter.
They still got a lot to. The Raiders still got a lot to do. Now you add in Fernando Mendoza, that they're not going to go to the Super Bowl right away. They still got a lot to do, and hopefully, Mark Davis could be a little bit less hands on, and hopefully, you think he hired the right people this time, and that they could finally build this team the right way, just like the Jets are trying to do. And that's another conversation. But it's like you said, in drafting Ashton Genty, putting him in the situation, that was not a good situation for him to be in. So obviously he had a decent rookie year, but obviously not the best we expected. So like you said, 56 times. That shows it right there that the whole Raiders team was not complete.
Well, no duh that Geno Smith and Ashton Genty looked like crap. You had me playing offensive line for them. Oh, boy. Because I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, they cut Geno Smith. That's weird because you usually want the veteran to develop the younger guy or whatever. And then I was thinking to myself, like, when the Giants played him, didn't he get sacked like 900 times and hit like 900 times? Then it looks, he only got sacked 3 times. He's like, I remember it being way more than that. But he had 2 picks, whatever. And then I was looking at this total year stats. I was like, oh my God, this guy was getting killed. Okay. I mean, one of the reasons why you want that veteran guy there instead of the rookies, just because you don't want the rookie to get killed, Because usually if you're a rookie, you're going to a team that's got a bad, a lot of times teams don't really build the offensive line first, which is why I liked what the Lions did a few years ago. Anyway, but if you're not going to have that, it doesn't matter. You can have Prime Dan Marino playing for them. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, so the Raiders, they got a lot, but in terms of Geno, the Raiders got a lot going on.
Throw to either? Oh boy.
They got Brock Bowers. So I mean, that's really on the end of the wide receiver end. That's kind of really.
If I was Fernando Mendoza, grad school would be looking pretty darn good.
People were saying that he shouldn't go to the Jets, but at the same time, the Raiders are not a better situation either. But I think
they're a way worse situation.
I think they're on a good trajectory. I think it's good that the Jets kind of had the year they had, so now this year they can kind of look and be like, hey, we don't want that to happen again. How can we be better? But so that's really up to the Raiders. But Fernando Mendoza, obviously Geno Smith getting released. But again, I like Jacoby Brissett. I think he played on the Frank Wright. He's the quarterback that that I think he, like, you look at the season he had, 23 to 8, touchdown interception ratio with 3,000 yards. Obviously they didn't win a lot of games, but that's not a completely on Jacoby Brissett. But like, that's perfect to me. Like, and I was watching the games. He made Michael Wilson look like freaking like Megatron. I was seeing he was making contested catches, lobbing it up. He was having like 40-point games in fantasy. Like, Michael Wilson, wide receiver number 2, behind Marvin Harrison. He was playing like what Marvin Harrison should be. So that's why I like Jacoby Brissett, the familiarity with Frank Reich, and I think it's the quarterback. He would play way better at the quarterback position than what I've seen the past couple of years. I know they're saying that they're going to lack after Carson Wentz, but really, I'd rather have Geno Smith at that point. I don't know how Carson Wentz is going to be now. He's sat a couple of years. He's been in KC. He actually did play good with Minnesota, though. I will say that. He did play good for the Vikings. But then again, he's playing with Kevin O'Connell. Is he going to be able to replicate that with Frank Reich? I'd hope so. Either way, I just want better quarterback play than I saw last year. That's all I hope for.
I get that. You guys just need a lot. I'm not trying to be a hater. Everybody says it. But, like, it's one of those, I think you guys just got to appreciate, like, if I'm a Jet fan, I'm just rooting to be entertained. It's going to be a rough few years. No offense. But, yeah, like I said, it's just going to be a rough few years. So, we'll see. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of a way to, like, what can the Jets do? And I don't want the Cardinals to get rid of Jacoby Brissett, because between us, I'm going to keep Michael Wilson in our fantasy football league. He was so good for my team. He's the reason I got the trophy right over there.
He was a good pickup, so I think that was good.
Yeah, my team, I should draft in the NFL. Are you kidding me? With the way my team was this year?
I was going to say, but I would kind of want to wrap up tampering because I do want to get into the Baseball Classic, and I do got to run after this. So I will say I'm excited for the tampering period, and I'm excited for what's next coming up, who's going to sign where. I'm glad the Jets tagged Breece Hall. That was good. But I want to hear your thoughts on the World Baseball Classic. Some expectations and excitement. And, after we talk about that, should the gold medal game be held differently than not on a Tuesday and St. Paddy's Day? Because I feel like more people would go. It would be easier for people to travel.
Yeah, we'll start off with that. Why is the gold medal game on St. Paddy's Day? Like, dude, whoever schedules this baseball stuff between MLB and World Baseball Classic, we couldn't move everything in the World Baseball Classic back a day or up a day. It was on a Tuesday last time. The day of the week doesn't matter to me. It's just, it had to be on Paddy's Day. Brother, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And then why didn't it be much I put anymore? Gosh, buddy, read the room. Anyways, I'm excited for the World Baseball Classic. I was watching Czechia versus Australia this morning at like 1 o'clock. It was okay. Australia blew their doors off. We knew that was going to happen. And Japan beat Chinese Taipei earlier today. So I'm waiting for Team USA. I got my hat right over there. I'm ready to go. I'm rocking the Yankees shirt, my black Aaron Judge jersey, my favorite jersey I own. Locked in, ready to go. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Yankees. USA. Woohoo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun, especially after watching the U.S. team in hockey get the gold. It'd be pretty cool if we could take gold in the Baseball Classic.
Fired up. Yeah. Ohtani hit a grand slam for Japan in the Tokyo Dome this morning, winning 13-0 over Chinese Taipei, which was expected. Chinese Taipei is not a good team. Years ago, they were kind of cracked when they had Chin-Ming Wang, but nowadays, not so much. Cuba is up over Panama 3-0. That's expected. Venezuela up 1-0 over Netherlands. Netherlands dealt a huge blow earlier this week, losing Jurickson Profar to a 162-game suspension, violating his second PED policy check in MLB, which also disqualifies him from the World Baseball Classic. Still to come today on FS1 at 1 o'clock p.m., Mexico versus Great Britain. Great Britain, sneaky good team. So is Mexico. Two very good teams in this. 6 o'clock p.m., Puerto Rico versus Colombia, also on FS1. On FS2, Nicaragua will be taking on the Dominican Republic. And at 8 o'clock p.m., Brazil is hosting, well, I shouldn't say hosting because it's in the U.S., but Brazil is going to be taking on the USA. That will be on Fox. And that's going to be from Dyken Park over in Houston, or what fans have affectionately started to call it, the Icebox. Because Dyken is apparently some like HVAC company out there or something, Josh was telling me. Hi, Josh.
Love Josh.
Former co-host, Josh Gable. So,
All right.
but yeah, I'm excited. Team USA, I think they're currently favored to win. Japan's in second, Canada's in third, or the DR's in third. The DR's got a loaded team. You got Juan Soto, Vladdy Guerrero, everything like that. Puerto Rico kind of got the short end of the stick. No Francisco Lindor. His insurance didn't get cleared.
A lot of people.
A lot of guys, that's a big problem this time, is guys didn't get their insurance cleared.
A lot
that
of
happened
people,
a little bit last time, but this time it was a lot more.
It's going to be interesting watching. I know Juan Soto hit a monster home run for the DR, and he did it for the first time with his grandpa watching, supposedly. That was pretty cool. Something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I know the U.S. has a stacked lineup, especially the fact that I think Aaron Judge in it, I think that's the big headliner.
Yes, man, let's go. I might still go. Thinking about it.
Maybe I could finesse something. I would go with you. Maybe. Because I'm off on the Monday, and then we could just go. So if you know what, let me know. We'll be in touch about it.
No, I'm not going to. I got to save my money up. I'm watching here. We could go out for the game if you're off that Tuesday. And then I'll see if I could get off from the radio show. All right. That's off the show conversation. But yeah, the Team USA went, and you know who's back? Who I'm fired up for. What I love about the World Baseball Classic too is you see guys, it's like they're still playing baseball. A lot of like retired guys. Clayton Kershaw back for Team USA. I'm excited. Last time, he's never been able to play in the World Baseball Classic because something always comes up that he's not allowed to. The Dodgers always kind of like prevented him from doing it. This time, though, he's retired. He's a free man. And I'm excited to watch Clayton Kershaw don my Team USA jersey. I might actually buy a Clayton Kershaw Team USA jersey because my Dodgers Clayton Kershaw jersey just kind of got like, I think I spilled something on it. It's kind of ruined it. White. Should have known better. And yeah, I'm excited, dude. I'm fired up. So yeah, I'm excited. I should have worn my Team Japan Otani jersey today. Darn it. Try to be festive, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. 13-0. Jeez.
All right. I'm glad you're excited. I think that wraps up because
I think so.
It was a great show. And I'm excited for the World Baseball Classic, and I'm excited to see what comes on in the sports world within the next week or so. With that being said, I'm Brandon Talley along with Denis Tui. Thank you guys, and have a great rest of the weekend, and happy St. Patty's week, right? It's next.
Nope, that is 2 weeks out.
2 weeks out. My apologies. Hold up.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
All right, that was good.